Lauren, welcome.
Welcome.
To the casting couch, to the show. Bit rude, you weren't my first guest really, though, wasn't it?
No, I seem to be third or fourth, probably quite far down the line.
Third. But you're here. I mean, now we actually have to speak to one another.
Oh, God.
How are you feeling today? How are we doing?
Fantastic.
Lots of stuff to go over. We had the park run this morning, and Lauren somehow seems to be personal best in
I'm just an athlete.
Every single
Just
time.
an athlete.
Every single time. So what's that? You've done 8, 9, was it 10 this year? You said
8 runs this year.
8 runs this year. You started at 34 minutes. And
34 minutes something.
And you're now just about to break into the 27 minutes.
Yes.
Getting better a minute each time, pretty much.
I'll be hitting sub-20s. And give me a couple of weeks.
Sub-20s. I got like my best personal best, like it was the 20th of January was my best.
That was ages ago.
And I haven't beat it since then. I was like 5 seconds off today. But Lauren's just like a little bit better,
I'm slow and steady. I think it's the beginner gains, I think. I started very, very poor back in January. I was on death's door after that first run. I felt sick for the whole day. I was laying on the sofa afterwards going, I feel unwell. And now I don't feel sick afterwards. So it's gradually, we're getting there.
I thought I was on my beginner gain progression. I started like 29 minutes and felt like ass. And then I went to like 26, 25 and 23, I think. Or maybe 26 and 23. I'd like shot it really quickly. I thought,
you were quite quick,
I was knocking like minute and a half, 2 minutes off. And I was like, oh sweet, I'm going to get 20 minutes in no time. And then I hit 23:49. And then we went and did a different route. We went and did the one down in Falmouth.
Oh,
and
God,
I was 2 minutes slower.
That was a horrific one.
But you still got faster.
Literally by a second, so it all depends on how their timings were. I mean, my watch says I do 10k every time.
It's all over the place. But how are you finding the running though? Because that's like, I mean, new-ish in the kind of the frequency and the intensity that we're doing it now.
Yes, I hated it in the beginning. I think I started in just before Christmas because I was like, I need to start doing something. So I did a little bit on the treadmill before Christmas because I'm not very much an outdoor runner by myself because I don't have the motivation to do it by myself in the rain. So it's getting better. I'm not hating it anymore. And I feel like breathing's getting better. I don't get the aches and pains. Like I used to be awful with my hips. Afterwards, I'd be in absolute bits. I used to get off the treadmill. I remember in December getting off the treadmill and feeling like I was broken. And now I don't get that. So I think it's very much like the gym. Like you start god awful. You're like, everything's feeling heavy. Everything's feeling really tough. And then as you keep doing it more and more, obviously you get fitter, you get faster, and it just gets better. So I'm glad we're still doing it, even though it's tough to wake up on a Saturday morning and I just want to lay in bed.
Yeah.
The worst bit is getting out of bed. And then when it's drizzly and rainy, I'm like, oh God, I don't want to. But like when you do it and then when you get a personal best or when you feel like actually, when I look back, it's not as bad as it used to be.
No, it's not.
It's, it's quite enjoyable in the end. And we're doing like a longer run tomorrow. And like back in December, I would have never been able to run like 3 or 5 kilometers very well because my breathing would be off, my hips would be hurting. And tomorrow I'm doing a 10, you're going to do a half. And I'm like, yeah, I could do that. Be fine.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to the half.
I mean, I wouldn't do the half.
No,
but
because obviously we've got the Plymouth event end of April.
It's like 6 weeks, I
think. On your birthday.
Now. Yeah.
So on the Plymouth event, they do the 5k, the 10k and a half marathon on the same day. So I'm doing the half marathon. Lauren is doing the 10k. I've got a bunch of clients doing the half and the 10. Maybe some doing the 5. Do you have any signed up to it yet? Are there any of them even bothering? You haven't got many room to run it, have you?
That's the thing. A lot of my clients struggle to get out to do runs because a lot of them have got kids. So like gym, we've got the crash. They can use that. I've tried to persuade some of them, but
I definitely had. I had like I think I could go back and find in the group chat the amount that actually said, yeah, I'll do it, I'll do it, and I'd say 20% have actually followed through and signed up. Like there's things that have come up for these people conveniently on April 28th.
Oh, 100%, yes. I probably had like...
Oh, Tom, I booked a holiday now. Sorry, mate. Can't fucking make it. You know who you are. Oh, I've got an event booked that day. Whoa. I was booking this months in advance. But it's good that we've got like the group of us because we aren't... I mean, I'm not a natural runner. By your personal best and what you're achieving, you looking more of a natural runner than I am. I'm looking dog shit. I'm there like, I'm like, if you run near me and hear me breathing when I'm going for a personal best, I'm like a fucking zombie. I'm there like,
I'm glad I'm nowhere near him. I'm so glad.
You'll be overtaking me soon. But I used to run loads when I was younger, but I don't feel as natural now. But it's good we've got like that group of people who are doing it with us, that some of them it's a bit more natural to them. Like they're actually really into it.
Yes.
They kind of like drag us to do it as well. Like our clients that hold us accountable to do the stuff that maybe isn't like our main focus. Because you obviously, you put it around the gym. I obviously put it around jiu-jitsu and stuff like that. But it's nice that we've kind of got that little kind of group from it.
Yeah, I think it's nice. I think it's the environment that you obviously surround yourself with. And when you've got a little group of people that are like, yeah, I'll do the 5K every week, or let's go and do some longer runs. You're like, oh, if you're going to do it, why can't we do it as well?
Yeah.
So I think it's
everyone
good.
got personal bests today as well, bar me. Rebecca got personal best. Oscar did like 2 minutes off his, 2-3 minutes off his last time.
Oh, wow.
He did like 26. You got personal best. I don't know if Dash said she got personal best.
I think she's waiting for the results to come out. So
yeah, it's just me. I'm shit.
It's just you.
If
you're letting the team down, you're off the team. I
need to give this up. But so how is business? How is personal training? How are the mums?
It's good. It's been a whole year since I've been...
I was going to bring that up. February would have been...
February. I felt like I didn't celebrate it because I completely forgot. And then I was like, oh my goodness, it's the end of February. Yeah. I've been self-employed for a whole year.
Completely self-employed. All of your income is off your own back.
Yeah. So obviously I teach a couple classes, but that's still classed as self-employed.
You have to run that class. They don't run it for you, so everything's off you.
I still have
you
to
only
plan
get paid.
it.
Yeah.
Yes, I get paid like a set hourly
rate. So it is self-employment. You are completely self-employed.
Yes. It's
scary.
been good. There's been some ups and downs. There's been some highs and some lows. And there's been tears and there's been good times. But it's good.
Would you have thought... Because obviously when we met, you weren't doing personal training. You had like 1 or 2 clients you would do around your job, your hours and your classes. So you were maybe, let's say, 85-90% employed at that point, and you had like little bits of self-employment there, didn't you?
Yeah. When did we meet? Back in 2021, I want to say. Many
moons ago. It's
a long time ago. I think I was doing...
I've aged.
You've aged.
You look the same.
I think I was doing 3 shifts a week.
Yeah, you were working a lot. But...
Yeah, I was doing 3 shifts. And then previously, like before COVID, I was running something called like the GP referral program. So I was basically personal training, but getting a god-awful wage for it. So it was like 50p more per hour than minimum wage. So it was pittance that I was getting for like helping these people one-on-one.
And you were getting some questionable people.
And they were interesting people. Loved them all, but they were hard work. And obviously you just get a bunch of people. You don't get all females. You don't get everyone with the same sort of symptoms. Like everyone was different. And I enjoyed the variety, but it wasn't like personal training because they had no investment. They weren't really doing half of it anyway. So yeah, obviously COVID happened and then we came back from COVID and then I was just doing shifts. I remember you saying to me like, oh, why don't you just go back to doing personal training? Like, why don't you like pursue that more? And I always said to myself like, I can't do that. I've got the kids. And I remember Eli was only in, so he's the youngest. I think he was at nursery at the time. And I was like, I don't have time to have my own business or to find clients because I'm too busy. I've got 2 kids to look after. Like it just feels impossible. So I remember you like mentioning it a couple of times. And obviously you had a coach at this time that was helping you with your business. And I was just like, that's not in the path for me. Like, no. That I'm not interested. So like obviously we met in like the April and I think obviously you were doing this course and it wasn't until I want to say like the new year and I got this book from the coach that you were with and I read his like personal training book. Shout out to Ollie because it was a great book. I read his book and was like, actually like some of the stuff in this book like I could do, like I could probably implement. And obviously I didn't want to rely on you to help me build up my personal training business because...
As Ollie said, I'm your boyfriend, not your coach.
Yeah. And I was... yeah. So, obviously, I know how to personal train, but it's the business side that you just don't get taught at all. Like, you get taught how to make a program, how to help people, but they don't tell you how to find the clients, how to keep the clients, what to charge clients, and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I read this book, and then I ended up reaching out to Ollie and was like, I need some help. So yeah, I worked with him for a bit, and then I think after a year or so of working with him, then I went fully self-employed. So yeah, the past year has been good. It's been nice to have that bit of flexibility so I can pick and choose my hours. Like if the kids are sick, it's not the end of the world. I'll just shuffle my diary round. And when it gets to the summer holidays, like for me, because a lot of my clients are mums, they obviously have got kids to look after. So it means that I've got my kids to look after. So it works out really well. But yes, it's going good.
Let's say if you went back to when you, let's say 4 or 5 years ago, where you were with it, would you have imagined you'd been at a position where you were just completely self-employed?
Oh, God, no. Yourself? God, no. I remember seeing the personal
trainers. So let's say when Eli was just born, and maybe you've gone back to work after Eli was born. So Eli's like 1, you're gone back to work. Would you imagine any level of just complete self-employment then?
Oh, God, no. I think growing up, your parents are always like, you need to have a stable job, self-employed's too risky.
I think that's, I mean, yeah, if your parents aren't self-employed, neither of ours have ever been self-employed. Yours haven't been self-employed. Yours have always been. I think if we had self-employed parents.
I think my mum did Avon for like 2 weeks. Yeah, I was like, no.
I think my mum did. What did she do? That Pampered Chef.
Yeah. Everyone used to do those.
I don't know what it is, but I don't. Yeah, my dad was all military, so there was no aspects of self-employment in my immediate family who I would hang around with, who I grew up with. Neither in yours.
No.
So what? So do you reckon it was just like our conversations and stuff like that, and then you looking into it?
I think because obviously you got good results from working with someone. I think at the time I was trying to persuade a friend to get a coach because you can see potential in other people, but you can't see it in yourself a lot of the time. And I was like...
Very good at giving advice to other people. Yeah. We should do ourselves.
Yeah. I remember saying to my friend at the time, being like, oh yeah, you could hire this coach and like you could give up all these like random bits and bobs that you're doing and just be a personal trainer. And I remember them saying like, no, I'm not spending that money on like hiring someone because it is a lot of money.
I don't think that individual's going to do it anyway.
No, you're not what we're talking about. But as a supportive friend at the time, I was like...
you were a supportive friend at the time.
I was like, I can see there's potential for you. And obviously this person didn't do it. And then obviously me reading his book and was like, actually, even if I did it part-time, like I'm not looking to be I say I'm a full-time personal trainer. I work like 20 hours. 16 to 20 hours a week, and for me that is as much as I can do in the gym.
Shut up. You do 16 to 20 hours in the gym, and then you do. So what did the boys go to sleep? 7, half 7, and then she is on. I'll FaceTime her in the evening, and I hardly get a word out of her because she's working. So you'll do another hour and a half to 2 hours in the evening, most evenings. Yeah, you might get distracted scrolling, but you've got your 20 hours of PT, then you got your classes on top of that, so you're like another 22, and then Monday to Friday you're probably doing another, let's say an easy hour. Okay, so you've got 5 on top of that, so you got 27, and then it's Saturday. This is work. Sunday you'll do work tomorrow. You probably do like 3 hours tomorrow.
Yeah, and then Friday is now my admin day.
You'll easily get over 30 hours. So yes, minimum.
I probably do work full time.
Social media, content, messaging people. You do loads. She does loads. She's fucking fantastic what she does. She's amazing what she does. So, do you reckon it was like, so obviously it's the unknown with the self-employment thing. You also had the boys a bit of like scared to kind of take that step to see if you could kind of, create something for yourself.
Oh, 100%. It's because like, obviously when you're employed, you've got a lovely set income coming in. You feel like your bills are going to be paid because you've got however many hundreds or thousands that are coming in, and you're like, cool. And it got to the point, when was it, like January sort of time last year, and it was like, you've either got to go for it, or you kind of keep plodding along. And it kind of got to the point like, I'd reduced all my hours down, so I was literally doing like 1 8-hour shift on a Wednesday morning, and like it was just difficult to juggle clients around that shift because a lot of people want 6 a.m. on a Wednesday, or they want really early because it fits in around their lifestyle. So it got to the point I was like, I need to drop it now, or you're never going to do it. You're just going to be stuck in this limbo and keep like dipping your toe in, but you're not fully into it. So yes, we just did it. I think it was easier because a friend of mine, Ricky, he was like, I'm doing it now. And I was like, if you're doing it, I need to do it too. I was like, I'm going as well.
That's good. So I remember us having the conversations when you just maybe like you went in the self-employed in the February 2023.
Yes.
And we were talking about it over that Christmas period leading up to it. The whole time I've obviously been like, just do it.
Yeah.
Sack off the work, just do it. But give us a little bit more information on what was going through your mind at that time then. Like, right, shall I just have a bit of self-employment and a bit of employment for that security? Or should I take that step? What were you thinking when you were kind of umming and ahhing it?
I think it was like the opinion of other people. It's not the opinion from you. I think it was the opinion from, bless, if mum will never listen to this, but it was probably from my lovely mum.
Lauren's mum comes up a lot.
I had to pretty much ask her permission. I was like, Mum, I'm thinking of doing this. What do you think?
It's good you respect your mum's opinion, though. Cause...
Oh, yeah, I think I rely too much on my mum's opinion, though, because I'm like, oh, God, what will mum say? So I think I messaged her and was like, I'm thinking of doing this. What do you think? And she was like, well, if you think you can pay your bills. It was something really like, just really blunt, like my mum is. Like, if you think it'll be okay, which I wasn't expecting in the slightest. I thought she was going to be like, no, keep your shifts, there's security, you've got 2 kids, you need to make sure that they're provided for, you can't be taking this risk of what if all your clients disappear. So she wasn't like that. And then I remember seeing her like a day or 2 later and like kind of sitting down with her and being like, I think I want to do this. I think like I've got the clients, like it's just going to keep building. I've obviously reduced my hours so much. I'm not going to be in the lurch if I do take this risk. And she was like, yeah, okay. And ever since then, I think it's because someone's described it as like someone always chasing you.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's what it is with self-employment. Like,
yes,
you can't...
There is a constant anxiety there.
Oh, yeah. And, like, especially if you go to work when you've got, let's say, a normal job, when you're, like, contracted hours, you can turn up and do nothing all day. Hide and have cups of tea if you're in, like, an office job, and you're still going to get your wage. Whereas with self-employment, it's very much, if I'm not looking for clients, if I'm not doing what I need to do with my clients are all going to leave. They're all going to think I'm blooming useless. And then I have no income. So I think having something that you enjoy for one, and then being like, actually, I can help these people are staying for a long period of time, it kind of makes it easier. Or that's where I felt like, actually, we can do this, even though the kids are very young. So I think Eli was in like reception by this point.
They don't cost a lot though, in the grand scheme of things.
I mean, at
the moment, it'll get more expensive.
At the moment, they don't cost too much. Obviously, it's like clothes, and then
you got
like,
2. You just get one to pass down clothes.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's a lot of passing down clothes. So yeah, and then like extracurricular activities like swimming and football and stuff like that. They could do more, but I think they like having what they're doing at the moment.
Yeah. I get what you mean though with taking that step and then feel like there's someone chasing you. Because I started personal training really young. I feel 18. I did a course at 17. As soon as 18, I was personal training, and I had that alongside my job from school, which was my set income of, I don't know what it was paying me at the time, enough to buy myself a car, a cheaper car, and phone finances, and I had my lifestyle and that from it. So, and I had my personal training business on the side, but I didn't really think of it much because I had my employment income. My employment income, it only got to the point just before COVID. I think I was doing it like 4 years. It took like 4 years for my self-employment income to match my employment income. It took me ages, but I didn't really. That was just minimum. There was no work into it. It was just, it gradually built to that with like people that came into the gym. I didn't put any work into it because I had the security of the employment income. So I didn't think about self-employment at all. It was only post-COVID when I was kind of kicked up and I had to like, right, well, what do I do now? And I had this opportunity to go to the other gym. And ever since that happened and I was then fully self-employed, I feel like my standards, skill set, and mindset just to work for myself massively changed, because I didn't even think about self-employment at all. And then everything changed, and when it was like, right, I'm now, all of my income is off my own back, rather, I just used to go and sit in the gym before. I used to just sit there.
Oh yeah.
And I'd sit there on the computer, and people would come in and out of the gym. I'd probably be watching Netflix, a movie, playing a game, eating my meals. I'd probably be training while I was there. I wouldn't be thinking about my business. But again, I was 18 to, how long, at that age I was between 16, 17 employed there. I started PT in 18, so I did like 3-4 years doing self-employment and employment at this gym. Still relatively young, but I didn't take it seriously at all. So I think having that kick to be like, right, I'm now all or nothing is on me, that's when it like really, 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 really stepped up. Because like all of my money has to come from my efforts, my ability to find clients, my ability to learn more, provide a service, rather than just relying on a company to pay me. I am now the founder of TGPT, and TGPT pays me. So it's it's that scary thing. I joke about it to my clients all the time. I got a bunch of self-employed clients, and I joke about like the constant anxiety. Not that I'm there like hair falling out or anything like that. I'm not. When I talk about anxiety, it's not like a constant stress, but there's that constant kind of guy on your shoulder, whatever it is, and it's like you need to be doing this, you need to be doing that, there needs to be this, why aren't you doing this? Like, you are you going to be able to afford all the money in that?
You do feel like you need to be always doing more,
there is
don't you?
Constant thing, but I feel it's a good anxiety because every aspect of my business, there's some boring bits, but the majority of my business and the way I've set it up, I very much enjoy it, and I'm very passionate about it. I love working with people face to face. I love working with the people that I have online, creating content and stuff like that. The boring bits will be just like little admin things, fucking
Weber.
Writing emails, and not that I write emails.
I need
to be honest, I think I only do the stuff I enjoy now. To be honest, there's other bits I probably should do more of, and I'm not naive to that.
I mean, email marketing is. If you've ever done email marketing, or if you're like dipping your toe in,
blow my fucking brains out.
I
just use AI to write up the emails and stuff like that. It's remembering to do it all as well.
I think it's remembering it, but then you're like, email's not just one of those things that you just post and then you just ignore it for like 4 months. You have to be really consistent, like Instagram, and like if you're posting, you have to be really consistent. And we're awful with that, but there'll become a time, I think, that we'll probably do that a little bit more.
Just hire someone else to do it.
That was probably going to have to be the way at some point, but at the moment.
That's a self-employment thing though. Like, even you've got clients that have their own businesses, or what comes to mind when you've got a self-employment client? You got hairdressers or anything like that?
I have had hairdressers previously,
estheticians or stuff like that. We're obviously personal trainers, so people think, you just train people in the gym. But when you have the business, an aspect of it is training people in the gym. Then we are also the marketer, the admin in the background. We're the binman. We're HR. We're the complaints. We're the therapists. We're the programmer. We're the technicians. We're the accountants. We're the content creators. Everything that comes under it. Personal trainer is like the easiest bit of it. For like a hairdresser, cutting the hair and doing the hair is the easiest bit. Doing all your accounts and tax and your managing your stuff, doing all your bookings and out at the end, doing all that kind of stuff, ordering your products and stuff like that. Marketing, getting in new clients. Like that's what self-employment actually is. And I think that's why. We've seen, I've definitely seen a lot of people come and go in the industry.
Oh yeah.
Mainly because, and I do totally get it. Like they realize that obviously, I'm very passionate about personal training, and so are you, but they struggled with the other aspects of it that I've just said. Like they wanted to just do personal training, but when it comes into taxes and all this other stuff they have to manage, it makes them kind of lose that passion for the personal training. And I understand why self-employment can be like so difficult for some people. How have you found that? Because you're now a year into that. I know you've had some dips. We spoke about it.
Yeah.
I know Christmas was like a big dip moment for you, where you had like a little bit of a worry moment, with client. There's always peaks and troughs with self-employment.
It's not like I was thinking the other day, like everyone needs a hairdresser.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to have a hairdresser pretty much the whole of your life. Not everyone needs a personal trainer for life. Like, some people will have it for a couple of months. Some people will have it for years. Like, it's not one of those industries that you need it. It's not an essential. Like a haircut.
It is for some
probably-
people. Some
yes.
people literally can't do it by themselves.
Yes, and it
I'm a
is-
big believer in that.
Yeah, and I've got clients that I've had for years, because one client of mine, he's like, if I don't have you, Lauren, I'm not going to the gym. So he's with me 3 times a week, and I'm like, fantastic, because he gets a chit chat and he's here exercising, and it's great. But yeah, and I think the industry is like, okay, right, we're getting up to Christmas now. What can I save money on? Personal training is the first thing that will go from people's minds, because they're like, I'm not going to the gym in December, because I've got too many Christmas parties. So that's when our income can drop quite a lot. So in November, I think a lot of people messaged me and was like, I just need to pause for December because I've got too much going on. I've got too much financially. Obviously, a lot of my clients have got kids. So you think, I can save that couple £100 that I'm spending on a personal trainer and spend it towards the kids, which I completely get. But obviously for me, I'm like, 10 people have disappeared this month.
Yeah, so I mean, it's up to you if you want to talk numbers on it, but
I can't remember what
my biggest drops I've probably had, and this, I haven't had a big drop in a while now. I've been quite good with I'm always talking to my clients, like I'm selective of who I actually work with, because I want someone who wants a journey with it. I don't just want to be treated like a prostitute, like come and pick me up whenever. Like I'm not that kind of personal trainer. I have different services if people just want to dip their toe, but with people who are working with me one-to-one, whether it's face-to-face or online, I want people who want to be committed, and I want people who can afford it. I'm not just going to hire someone. I've had students before, and they're in and out because they do a month or two and they're like, I can't afford it. So that's not the kind of people I work with. I work with people who can afford me and want to do something long-term, because there's a journey there. So I get people in and out the door every now and then, but I remember it must have been two or three Christmases ago, I had like $2,000 drop off in a month. And
it's heavy.
I think I had it was probably, and I still took 2 weeks off of that Christmas. I was like, no, I'm not working it. I'm still taking those 2 weeks off because I think it'll be good for me mentally. And then I had an even better year after that. But that's the peaks and troughs of self-employment. Like to get a bunch of messages from clients saying, I'm not continuing into the new year. You always got to expect it. But I was looking at my books and I was like, that's $2,000 less next month now. Obviously, it was, December saying $2,000 less, but then you get people who are messaging you online of that, on the side of that, like, I want to sign up in January. So it wasn't $2,000 less, but it was like $2,000 gone.
Yeah.
Imagine if I kept those people and then had all those other people sign up. I'd be like, woo.
Yeah.
But like when you just see like that amount of people just drop, you're there like,
it's a lot. It makes you work, though.
I'm surprised my hairline's not going.
Yeah,
holding on strong.
It can be stressful. I remember speaking to my coach in January, being like, December wasn't a good time, and he was like, "How are you feeling?" I was like, "I've had a couple tears, but we've regrouped." And January was a really, really good month, and signed up lots of people, and obviously some
Lots
people
of good
came
people.
back, and really enjoy working with all of them. And it's just, you definitely get some lows and you get some highs, and then you're like, I feel okay. But I do feel like with personal training, when one goes, 5 end up disappearing, and you're like, blimmin' heck, if one just went every month, or if it just spread it out a little bit nicer, that would be lovely, because not everyone's going to stay. And I like to do a job whereas they come to me and they're complete beginners, like they've never stepped in the weights area before, like they've never even touched a dumbbell, and then for them to like leave in however many months' time, I go, actually, you don't need me anymore. I feel like I've done a job. But you're also sad because they're going, because you've built this rapport with them, because a lot of them, they start as clients but they leave as friends, so a lot of them are still friends, and I still see them at classes and I'll still see them around the gym. But I'm like, technically you don't need me anymore, because you can go to the gym by yourself. You know what to do. Like, you know what weight you should be lifting, because I've told you multiple times you should be lifting more, or you know what you should be doing now. So it's just not like hairdressing, where like I always need to have a haircut at least every 2 to 3 months, whereas personal training, sometimes for some people, they're like, I've got a goal to reach. When I've reached that goal, or when I know what I'm doing in the gym and I feel confident and I feel like I don't need a personal trainer, that's when my job's kind of like, I've ticked it off. So there's always that thing of being like, okay, this person,
Yeah.
They don't technically need me anymore. They obviously still staying because they enjoy it,
They
which is
technically
fantastic.
need you for the initial goals, but obviously, people stay because you continue to take them further and beyond that. The
Yeah.
amount of people that you've probably had that like you look back at what their initial goals were, and it's like, well, that could do that easily now.
Oh yeah, and they
that's well done.
change, don't they?
Yeah.
I had a girl this week, and she was like, "I've never done a full press up before," and I was like, "You could do that easy." When we first started,
Yeah.
you couldn't even do the chest press on 5 kilograms. I was like, "I want you to try it now," and she boshed out 5, and
Yeah.
I was like, "Okay, so that's ticked off. What do we work on next?" And she was like, "I do want to do a chin up," and I was like, "Okay, fantastic. That's our next goal that we're going to be working towards." So I do think goals can change along the way.
100%.
And I think she came to me just for gym confidence. And I'm like, you're confident going to the gym now. Like, you go in, you move the kids out the way because the kids are in your space. And now you're thinking about doing chin-ups and you're thinking about lifting your body weight, which you couldn't do in the beginning because your legs were too shaky. So, yeah, and I think it's good to kind of see people progress in the gym because, A, I'm like, I'm doing my job well because you're listening to me and you're enjoying it. And B, it's nice to see that progress from them and them feeling happy about it. So it is a good job. It just comes with its ups and downs.
Constant stress and anxiety. So you're obviously really, really, really honing in on mums. Being a mum yourself, being a fantastic mum yourself, like where you practice what you preach. You are obviously in the health and fitness space. Yes, it makes it easier. Being a personal trainer, you're always in the gym.
Oh, yes.
But you are a mum of 2. You have to, you are a single mum of 2 in a sense, because I don't help out with the boys.
We don't live together.
Yeah, we don't live together. I don't help out with the boys. So you're technically a single mum of 2.
Yeah.
Like you have support from, there's a little bit of support from him and a little bit of support from your parents, stuff like that. But you are doing it like 80% of the time, alongside the school runs, alongside your work and your social life, managing me.
I do pretty much all the school runs.
Yeah.
They're pretty much
and
with me.
you're using your lifestyle really well to kind of market to mums and show mums that it is doable. And a lot of these mums, they may be they're co-parents already, or some of these may be single mums as well. How are you finding your kind of, because are you mainly with mums now, is it?
I think pretty much all of mine. I literally have 1 or 2 that aren't.
You've got that guy, obviously, the old
and I've
geezer
obviously
you've had for ages.
yes, and I don't think he's going to go anytime soon.
No.
Bless him, because we've been together.
No,
for
he'll stay forever.
a lot,
He's one of
but
those.
he is the only gentleman that I've got. I had an inquiry not too long ago asking for personal training, and I was like, I mainly specialise in working with mums and females.
Can we say that story? So we don't have to drop names or anything like that. But
Sure.
So Lauren put out this. What's your program? Shape Up.
Shape Up, yeah.
And you it's all pink. I know pink, we're not saying colours are gender, but we all associate pink with girls most of the time, okay? Stupid not to think that. But it's like you Shape Up for mums. Mum training.
yes.
Mum, what was it, 4, 6 or 8 week kind of program, something like that you were sharing, and it was like for mums. Homework, I think it was the home workout one for mums.
Oh, okay, the 2-week home workout.
It was like that.
Something like
it was for
that,
mums,
yeah.
and you then had a guy inquire for it. It's for mums. I know 2024. That's not blah, 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 but it's all evident. You're looking for mums here. You work with mums. Everything you put up there, you don't share any guys, stuff like that. Then this guy's inquiring about it, and then so you take the opportunity. You didn't want to work with this guy. So
awful,
yes, he can. It's funny. Lauren didn't want to work with this guy, but he was persistent to work with her. So you really spiked up your price to see if you get a bite, just for the sake of it.
He didn't bite. I felt awful saying it was £100 more than what I would have charged. I was like, ha ha ha. I was like,
just to see. It's rather than saying no, you were like, well, if he does work with me,
it's a premium price.
It's a premium price.
If a man wants to work,
you're taking an opportunity.
I've got no offence with males. I've worked with males previously. I just prefer to work with females.
It's like, right, if you drive around in a Porsche, okay, you're not going to take your Porsche to the fucking the local garage. You're going to take your Porsche to the Porsche garage.
Yeah.
You're a garage for mums.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people know that now, which is nice, whereas previously you didn't really have much of like a niche. It was very much, if you came to me, yeah, I could definitely help you. Like, I could definitely help men, but I find that women listen better.
Yeah, they'll listen and relate to you better.
And yes, they definitely I enjoy working with them a lot more. Because I can definitely relate to a lot of the mums. They go, I've got this problem. I'm like, I've had that problem before too. This is how I overcome it. This is what you could potentially do. And they go, oh yeah, that's really helpful. Whereas men don't listen a lot of the time. Bless them. Sorry, man.
Got a bit of an ego. But so you're doubling down on like the mum industry and stuff like that, obviously, because that's where you can relate to and stuff like that. So, and how are you finding the kind of people that you're bringing on then? Because obviously you've really niched down into that. Has that been a positive kind of thing? Are you getting people who want to stay for longer, people who are listening better than what it was before?
Yes, I feel like the program that I've made, which is the Shape Up program, is very much all based around mums. Like all the resources that you get included in the program are all kind of tailored for mums. So I feel like they're like, this kind of like relates to me. This feels like it's the right program for me, and they feel like I'm the right coach for them. So yes, we do slightly different to you. So I offer like direct debit, but I also offer if they want to pay up front to kind of commit to a long sort of time.
No, but that's good. That's another area where you've kind of expanded it further than I have, really. It's good to see, because I haven't found, and I don't feel you really need to find a gender niche. Like I would like working with a lot of men, and I like working with a lot of women. I've mainly women, but I do have quite a few men that I work with as well. I feel my niche is more so in what the individual wants, the type of individual, if that makes sense. Like I have people who have goals and they want to achieve their goals, people who do want to work hard. I think it's good to see. The reason I ask is like you have really like honed in on a niche, where I'm still trying to figure mine out. I'm still trying to figure out.
It's only because they all say like, you've got a niche, obviously people will see your stuff and be like, you're the right person for me because you are working for a specific group.
My niche is just like people I like.
Yeah, I don't know. We were saying the other day, you've got lots of like self-employed people, haven't you? You've got lots of people that have had businesses. You work with lots of like busy full-time workers.
Driven individuals.
Yeah.
I guess I've kind of feel. But then I got retirees.
I mean, but that's your dad doing your lead gen.
Yeah. My dad's retired in the gym, and he just talks to other people about me all the time, and I just get
Your dad's
clients.
great.
I get clients from my dad. It's all old geezers, all like ex-military guys, but it's fantastic.
Which is great. And same with me. Like I've worked with like menopausal women before. I've helped people, or I've got clients at the moment that are in their like 70s, and like they probably are mums, but their goals are different to the goals of like say younger mums or like 20 to 30 year olds. They're different, and obviously they're going through menopause and stuff like that, or they've been through it, so like slightly different goals, but it doesn't mean that I'm not able to help them.
No, not at all.
It's just slightly different. But
yeah, I think I like the aspect of having quite a variety of clients. I do like the being like a bit of a chameleon in a sense.
No, like, it's nice to work with different people because it makes it, sometimes you get a bit repetitive, doesn't it?
Like I'll have a young 20-year-old female who's getting into the gym, wants to train, trying new things. She's strong. She's trying to develop all these things. And then I've got a guy in his 70s who's still just trying to be able to move. So it's quite a big spectrum of people. That's probably my range of what I've got there. And but it's each person provides like a different challenge, different breakthrough moments, different things to kind of work on, gets me thinking more, gets me learning more. I think that's why I probably am lazy to niche, because I feel like I'm just a bit selfish because I enjoy it. I enjoy the
if it works for you, it works for you
in that kind of
doesn't
sense. So being the mum specialist,
the
mum specialist for helping mums lose weight, get in shape, manage the stuff around the health and fitness. What are the main things that you kind of prioritize with mums in your coaching, or go over with mums with your coaching from like, the get-go?
I think to begin with, I don't like to give them 20 different things to start on at once. We break it down. So like say the first week, if they're coming in, we'll go, right, today we're going to go through your gym plan. So you know what you're doing. When you come in by yourself, you're happy. So at least the first week, you know what you're doing in the gym. And then normally second week we go, okay, let's have a look at your diet. Let's see what we can change bit by bit. And then we kind of just break it into small very manageable chunks, because as a mum, you don't have a massive amount of time on your hands. Like, you're always busy, the kids come first, and the last thing you need me to do is being like, right, you got to track your food, you got to go gym 5 times a week, you got to do 10,000 steps, you've got to do all these things, and you kind of get really overwhelmed by it because you're like, blimmin' heck, I can't get to the gym 5 times a week. Like, I had a client previously who worked with a different coach who was a male, and no offense to male coaches because you are a male, but this man had told her to do 5 gym workouts, 4 cardio sessions, to hit a certain amount of like protein per day.
200 grams of protein.
And it was very much like based for like bodybuilding single man. Like, no one that had no responsibility, that can go to the gym as many times as they like. And she was just like, I feel like a failure because I can't stick to it, and I feel like I'm not getting results because I'm not doing these things. And I was like, technically, for you, that's just too much. Like, I won't expect you to go to the gym 5 times a week and do 3 lots of cardio on top of that, and to track your food consistently. Like, it's just too much for the first week. Obviously, you can build up to that. So I obviously say to a lot of my clients that start slow and we'll build it up. Like, if you can go to the gym 2 to 3 times, fantastic. Let's stick with that for a couple of weeks. If you can get in more, it's a win. If you can't, it's not the end of the world. I'd rather you were consistent with that than beat yourself up and was like, I'm an absolute failure because I've not been to the gym every day this week. And yeah, some people will get quicker results. So if you're going to go to the gym every day, if you're going to be really, really consistent with your food from the get-go, you are going to get quicker, more efficient, or maybe not efficient, but you're going to get quicker results. But sometimes with the quicker results, you kind of...
There's a lot of sacrifice.
Yeah, it's a lot of sacrifice. And sometimes
and for some people, it's just not sustainable.
It's just not sustainable for some of them. So a lot of them have done these crazy diets and they've done all this crazy exercise, and they're like, well, previously when I've done this, I've lost so much weight. And I'm like, but then you're coming to me because it's all jumped back on again. I was like, I'd rather we took this slow and steady and realised, okay, this is what's working, this is not working. And we took it like step by step. So you're going to build those habits, but you're going to keep those habits and kind of keep the results forever, than being like up, down, up, down, up, down for the rest of your life.
So with people that come to you and they've seen some progress before, but they're not being able to sustain it. And you just said, we've got the things that are working and the things that aren't working. What are the usual things you see that doesn't really work for them? Like, they obviously get the results, but why aren't they sustaining it?
It's normally, I feel bad hating on Slimming World because everyone loves it. But it's normally that sort of diet.
I don't think everyone loves
Not
it.
everyone
There's
loves
a lot
it,
of people
but
that
there's a lot-
understand. Even this, I've people that go to Slimming World that I know people who go to Slimming World that hate themselves for going, but they just use it for accountability. They don't follow what Slimming World says. They just go for that community and accountability. They know there's a way in.
I think the community is great, yeah.
They know they need to turn up, and if they weigh them, they have to do the stuff to weigh themselves to be lower. It's that accountability why they do it. Like, they're publicly weighing. I think there's a lot of people who realise that a lot of it is shit.
I think it's the stress of being like turning up and being like, oh goodness, I need to go do 3 poos to make sure that my weight has gone down.
Yeah, there's people who won't eat for like 2 days.
Yeah,
for the Slimming World.
and like that's the last thing that I want you to do, is to come to my session and be like, Lauren, I've not eaten all day yesterday because I want to be a lower weight today. Like, it's just so yeah, a lot of people have done some sort of like strict diet before, whether that's Slimming World or done the shakes, or I've like cut out carbs. That's normally quite a common one. Like, I've cut out bread, potatoes, pasta, and I'm really sad.
Okay.
I'm like, oh.
Just a quick pause on that one then. What are your thoughts on people cutting out carbs? I've obviously spoke about this many, many times before. Cutting out bread, potatoes, pastas and stuff like that. What's your thoughts on people cutting out carbs? Your personal thoughts?
I love carbs. I would never tell someone to cut out carbs. Because I enjoy them. If they enjoy them, obviously you could have better carbohydrates. You can have like the whole grain carbohydrates. You can have better portion sizes with your carbohydrates. So I speak a lot with my clients about, okay, if you're having your pasta, your potatoes, your rice, maybe you should get a kitchen scales and start weighing out portion sizes, because that's where a lot of people go wrong. Is like you go out for dinner and get a pasta bowl and it's blimmin' huge, and
Yeah.
you feel like you should eat it all, but actually if you weighed out 75 or 100 grams of pasta, whatever it says on the back of the
Once it's
packet,
cooked, yeah.
and then once it's cooked, you go, that's like half a serving of
Yeah.
what you would get when you're out and
Yeah.
about. And I think it's a lot of people will go like, oh, bread is the issue. And I'm like, bread's not the issue. It's how much bread you're having. Like, you could still eat bread. Like, I've had a bagel for breakfast. It's not going to kill me that I've had a bagel. If I'm having 4 bagels, probably not. So it's just being sensible with your carbohydrates. And some people will feel like they need more carbohydrates for energy, and especially like if you're not sleeping very much, you can potentially crave more like sugary and carby things. And I think as mums, like when I had the kids, so when they weren't sleeping, I would just get a bit of toast and be like, I've got to keep going. I'd have a chocolate bar, I've got to just keep going, because you just need those like quick spikes of energy. And like the thought of being like, I've got to slave away to make a bit of protein and some vegetables. It can be difficult, but I've got no issues with carbohydrates. I think I eat enough chocolate as it is.
We need carbs. The reason like carbs are like, people go for carbs as cravings because your body knows that this shit's going to give me energy. This shit's going to give me quick access to energy, whether it's sweets, whether it's toast, whether it's whatever, like pastas. The body associates that with energy. And then if it tastes good as well, you're getting that like dopamine hit from the tasting good. Your body's getting energized. It's like, sweet, let's go for the stuff that's giving me the most dopamine and the most energy, which is
Carbs.
chocolate. For you. You get those cravings.
Oh, I do. It's delicious.
But that's why the body like goes for it, and you think about it that way. But yeah, carbs aren't the energy, the enemy.
The enemy,
It's your portions. I think you hit the nail on the head there. Like people, if they started like using a food tracking app, using some food scales, and actually seeing what a proper portion could be to spread your meals throughout the day, because a lot of people probably realize that they might be having loads of food in the evening, and that covers most of their daily calorie intake, but then the stuff they're having in the day might be very little, which is why they eat so much in the evening, because they're starving in the daytime. They'd be better off spreading that throughout the day for better fueling, so they're not just cramming loads of food in and then gaining weight or not being able to lose any weight.
Well, they do it a lot throughout the week. I've been so good Monday through to Friday.
Yes,
and then it gets the weekend and I've just gone absolutely mad. And I'm like, well, this is the issue. We need to kind of like balance it out a little bit better. So
let's talk about balance then. So balancing the lifestyle of exercise and better nutrition around kids as a parent.
It's hard work.
Yes. And how do you manage it? What are the things that you personally do? Because you're in good shape, you look after yourself, but you still enjoy your tasty treats.
I do.
You exercise on the regs.
I do exercise on the regs. Yes. So I think for me, what I do is I follow a gym plan, because if I don't follow a gym plan, which I didn't for quite a few months, I was just this, and I'll do a bit of that, and then I'll do my favourite exercise.
And get chatting to someone.
And then, someone will chat to me for about half an hour, and then I'll be like, wow, that's my 45 minutes all done. I'm going to go home now. So definitely for me, it's following a structured gym planner. So, following something 2 to 3 times in the gym. And then if I can get in a run on top, fantastic. So a lot of people go, oh, you're a personal trainer, you must exercise every day. And I'm like, I do not work out every day. I don't have the time to. Some days or some weeks are better than other weeks. So this week's been pretty decent. I think I've done like 2 runs, 2 gyms. That's a good week for me. 4 in a week is very good. Some days or some weeks it's 2.
No, like in half-term weeks.
You
can sometimes do none.
Literally, yeah. And I think it's having that mindset of being like, okay, it's half term. I might not be able to get to the gym as what I am at the moment. And my progress isn't going to go out the window. Like, I'm not going to gain 50 kilograms in a week. I'm not going to be able to go back to the gym and be like, oh my God, this bicep curl's really, really hard because I can't lift it anymore. I think that's what a lot of us worry about, is being like, I can't go. Everything's gone out the window and we have to start from scratch. So no, for me, it's like, right, if I can consistently get to do some sort of exercise 3 times, 4 is a plus. Food wise, I have been tracking or dabbling with the tracking because, again, I didn't have a hatred towards tracking. I just thought as a mum, it's just another thing that I have to add to my list of things that I need to do throughout the day. So I've done it for about, I think it must be 4 weeks now. Have I hated it? No. The first week, it's like a lot of food focus. I think you focus so much about like how much you're eating and you go like, I've always got to remember to track it. And it's, the first week's the worst. Starting any sort of new thing, isn't it? So the first week was bad. Not bad, but it was a bit like, oh God, this is painful.
Because you're actually thinking about food.
Oh yeah.
You're thinking about portions, you're thinking about calories.
Yeah.
And you're thinking about, quote unquote restriction. And as soon as you start tracking it and putting it in you, I'm exactly the same. It makes you then think, all right, well, I've only got a set amount I can have now. And then you start thinking about food more.
Oh yeah.
But before it was like, well, I'll just eat as and when. So you're not really thinking about food that much. You just, when you're hungry.
Yeah. And I think the first week of tracking, I was like, right, I'm not going to put too much pressure on it. I'm not going to drop my calories to where MyFitnessPal says I should be eating. So I think they said that I should be eating like 1,600 calories if I wanted to lose a couple pounds. And I was like, for me, to jump from probably 2,000 down to 1,600 was quite a big jump. And I was like, I'm not going to stress myself out. I'm going to put it down. I think the first week I was on like 1,900 and I was like, this is okay. This is cool. And then I was like, okay, next week, and then dropped it down to like 1,850. That was obviously a little bit more challenging because I was like, I need to make sure I'm under. And then I dropped it down to like 1,800. 1,800 I'm struggling with because I love the mini eggs. But I felt like it's been a much more sustainable way to do it than me just be like, right, 3, 2, 1, you're dropping your calories straight away to something that you're going to be focusing on quite a lot. So I think tracking is good because it made me realise that my meals are good, like calories, protein wise, like protein pretty much hitting like the target of what I wanted to be. It's mainly for me is my snacking, and sometimes it's realising that's how, like, when you use MyFitnessPal or some sort of tracking, it's realizing where you're going wrong with your food. And I know it's for me, it's like, it's the chocolate, it gets the evening, and I go, oh, I just need something sweet after tea. What shall I have? And sometimes I'll try and like trick myself and have like a yogurt bowl, but I'm actually like, I actually wanted chocolate. Or I'm in the cupboard with my Biscoff spread going, I'll just have a couple scoops of this and then I'll put it away, and then I'm like, you can't stop. So I think you definitely realise with food tracking, okay, here's my issues. Here's what I need to like adjust.
I think what you just said then, I think that's why there is such a large community of people who are so against the idea of tracking, because it will show them their issues. And I think it's people who are afraid to address that and associate that. People don't want to know how much food they're eating.
You've got to be honest.
They don't want to see, like, if you're someone who's overweight and wants to lose weight, fucking address the problem. And, but this is people that are afraid to. Would you agree? I think maybe there's the aspect people are afraid to see it and they can't be bothered to factor it into their lifestyle. Or I've got to use my phone. People are on the phone all the time. We all sit there and scroll all the time. We're all guilty of it. TikTok, Instagram, Reels. Would there be any other reasons why people won't do it?
I think sometimes you can get disheartened by it.
Yeah.
Because when you haven't prepared your food and you're going out for a meal, or you're just like, oh, I'll just make this chicken pasta at home. It's really, really healthy. And then you put it on MyFitnessPal and realise it was 1,000 calories. And you go, I'm well over today and I've messed up again.
But that's learning.
Yes, and I think I say to my clients, instead of saying you're on a diet, you're just experimenting. You're experimenting what works for your body. You're all experimenting what you enjoy, what you don't enjoy, what kind of works for you. So,
diet's just a way of eating. Whether you're on a shit diet or a diet to lose weight, diet to gain weight. I'm on a diet at the moment to gain weight. Mm-hmm. People think diet is lose weight. My diet at the moment is helping me gain weight.
Yeah. So I think you can get disheartened by tracking your food very quickly. Like after a couple of days, you're like, well, I've been over the past 3 days by 500 calories. Stuff this, it's not working. And you go, instead of being like, I'm really disheartened, it's being like, okay, here's the issue. It's I'm either having too many creamy sauces with my pasta. Maybe how can I change that? How can I make it a little bit more like macro friendly, which is just like changing, if you're having double cream, to milk, something like that. You can make small changes with a lot of the foods that you have at home. And
Stop having too many cream eggs.
yeah, for me, it's definitely the sweet things. I do have a sweet tooth. Like during the day, I'm fine. It gets to that little evening bit, and I'm like, where's the chocolate? So for me, I'm like, do I incorporate some chocolate at lunchtime? Because it gets to the evening, and I'm like, all I want is chocolate.
Yeah, but I think, like, even if I think about your kids, right? Your kids always ask for a dessert after a main, whether it's after breakfast.
After breakfast, they're like, is it dessert?
But they're, and I'm the same. We all associate. We'll have a savoury then a sweet. Majority of us. Spencer's weird. He eats sweet first, then savoury.
Oh God, Spencer.
Yeah, Spencer's a bit strange. He goes sweet then savoury. But we all naturally, from kids, it's like we have our main. Oh, what's for dessert? Something sweet. Our parents would give us something sweet. Okay, I think it's just a bit of programming because I always have like a main, and then I naturally just go grab like a square or two of dark chocolate after. That's my sweet after. I just have that. Like after each main, pretty much. My breakfast, I'll have like the dark chocolate in the oats. But after 2 mains throughout the day, if I'm having like a chicken rice meal or whatever it is, my potato meal, I'll always grab like a squares bar or a bit of dark chocolate after every main. And even after my evening meals, I have something sweet. We just associate savoury than sweet.
Yeah.
So I think it's just that natural programming. So it's maybe like thinking, let's just have a bit of a more sensible sweet.
Oh yeah, and I think sometimes having a bit of a pause. So I've been saying to my clients like, right, have your dinner, and have a bit of a breather, and then have your dessert, and then you might be less likely to have snacks all evening.
Yes.
Because I know for me, if I'm sat in the living room and I know the fridge is behind me, I'm like, the fridge is there, what have I got? But if I work from my bedroom, which is away from the fridge, away from the kitchen, I've got to physically get out of my bedroom, get out of bed, walk to the kitchen, and it just puts that barrier in place. So I sometimes say to people, like, you have a time limit on your fridge. Your fridge shuts at 7 o'clock. The shop is shut at 7. Like, you cannot go in that
People will
fridge
be there at
after
6:59 like, "Rrrr."
Yeah, but sometimes it's having a little bit of like those barriers. So a lot of my clients, they'll struggle with eating like a lot of chocolate and a lot of sweets, and like I am a chocoholic. Like I have got bars and bars of stuff in my freezer.
Yeah, but you've got it there, but you go through it sensibly. There's some people when it's there, then it's all gone.
Oh
when
yeah.
they go buy more the next day, then it's all gone.
Yeah, and it's either having a bit of like space between you and that chocolate. So like I won't buy. I know for me, if I have like Freddos in the house, I'll happily sit and eat all the Freddos. I'll buy them for the kids and I'll sit and eat all the Freddos. And then I bought them for myself. So I know if I buy small bars of chocolate, that's my downfall. If I buy a big, large bar and say, this is for my cooking, so I like to bake, this is for baking, it's got its little cupboard or it's got the freezer that it goes in, it's kind of like signed off, like it's not in my brain because I know that's for something else. Whereas the small bars, I could happily eat 2 or 3 of them a day. And then I'm like, well, why are my trousers not fitting anymore? So I know where my issue is. So I say this to my clients, like, okay, buy stuff for the kids that you don't particularly like. So now I buy the kids mini rolls because the thought of me eating a mini roll, I'm like, oh, it's not enjoyable calories to me. And if I buy the kids, I don't buy the kids like multi-packs of sweets because I will sit there and happily eat half a pack. So I'll buy them the little teeny tiny little packets of sweets because I'm like, you can have one. Do I really want one? Not really. So it's just kind of making those changes around your house and working out what your sort of like triggers are and being like, yeah, I need to adjust what's in my house. I make sure I don't go to the shop or buy stuff at work because if I'm buying stuff at work, it's unhealthy. It costs lots of money because I'm spending more money at the place that I'm already spending money to be there. So it's having those little rules, not like set restrictions, but it's having those little rules and being like, okay, if I want to stay in shape, not have these ups and downs, I need to have these set little rules in place that are going to help me stay on track.
Yeah, I think a big one is like what you said about the environment, putting those barriers in place. Like what I do when obviously I don't have kids I've got to buy stuff for, so everything I buy is for me.
It's for you, yeah.
So a main thing I do is I just don't buy it.
Yes.
But you know that would be if you can do that, just don't buy it.
Don't go down the sweet aisle.
Just discipline yourself not to buy it, okay? But something I do when I'm in like a phase where I'm dropping weight, I'll have my meal, and then I'm going out the house, or I'm going away I'm just going out for a walk. If it's one of those, if I'm dropping weight in the summer, it'd probably be a late evening. I've eaten a meal around 5-6. I go out for 10-minute, 20-minute walk around the block, and it just distracts me that little bit. Go out with my water bottle, headphones in, just I'm away. I'm not thinking about any more food. Because I can have quite drastic changes from my calories from when I'm trying to gain weight, trying to lose weight. So that food focus can be like a big thing. So I just take myself out of the house, or something else, or even just I'll sit and watch something, or play something, video game or something like that. Something just, or I'll go make a video or something like that, or even just like go have a shower, go have a drive or something like that. Just something that's not eating.
Yeah.
If I really, really, really need it. Like I said, the first bits of when you're kind of getting into the routine of it is the hardest bit, when you've got that change in focus. Once you've got that momentum, it does always become a lot easier. It just becomes just a bit second nature. But it definitely finding those little barriers that work for you, whether you can get out of the house, go do something active, podcast, listen to music, go play something.
If you can't get out of the house, like a lot of you, if you've got kids and you get to the evening, you go, I'm sat in front of the telly, the kids have gone to bed, like I can't physically get out for a walk because the kids are in bed. I'll watch the telly and I'll eat my snacks. It's being like, okay, maybe doing something with your hands so you can't snack at the same time. So it sounds really strange, but during lockdown, to prevent me from being on my phone all the time and prevent me from snacking, I took up knitting because I was like, my hands are busy, my brain is busy, and I can't physically eat anything at the same time because both of my hands are busy. And some people find reading a book works really well because obviously you need two hands to read a book and you need to turn the pages. If you're trying to eat at the same time, you get crumbs on your book and it's just not enjoyable, is it? So sometimes doing other things instead of being like, I'm going to sit down and watch my favourite programme, I'm going to have a big box of chocolates right next to me. And it's just easy to go. But sometimes keeping your hands busy and doing different things can help prevent. Yeah,
all of us are very like habitual. We're all like very like environment stimulated. So for example, we'll sit, like say sitting on the sofa, we'll associate when we sit on the sofa, or it's like going to the cinema. When you go to the cinema, right, I'm probably gonna have some like sweets with me or something.
Oh yeah,
we're growing up like that. So you associate. You go in the cinema, you're gonna have a box of Maltesers with you, and it's the same thing at home. If you're sitting down of an evening to watch a movie, watch a series. And your routine is if I'm sitting in this part of the sofa, I am having a sweet with me or something like that. Just it feels weird to sit there without it. Like it feels weird to be in the cinema without your sweet. At that place in your house, it feels weird to have it. So it can sometimes be as simple as you spend your evening somewhere else every now and then.
Yeah.
Like you said, going in your bedroom to your living room is 5 steps, 6 steps, something like that. There's nothing. You can see it.
Here.
You can, but just. It might even be as simple as me not sitting on the sofa. I sit on that chair.
Yeah.
Or I sit, something that doesn't. It breaks the cycle a little bit. It's like, all right, I'm over there, just thinking a little bit differently. You sit in a different part of your house. Something like that can work for some people. Obviously, it can be a little bit more difficult for others. But it's trying to break that cycle of like, all right, I've eaten, I sit down, or I'm gonna get something sweet, or whatever it is like that. You're breaking those habits.
Yeah, it takes a while to break those habits, 100%.
It's just being conscious of it.
Yeah, it's not a quick thing, but it definitely works. Just making those like small little adjustments to your life and being like, right, I'm going to sit in a different place, or I'm not going to buy those things, or I'm going to move my little sweet box to somewhere that's awkward for me to get to, like on top of the fridge or on top of the cupboard, so I physically have to pull a chair up. Climb up to go get my chocolate.
Potentially injure myself falling off the chair.
Or I get some clients to put their like sweet things in the shed or in the garage. Because I'm like, do you want to walk out to your garage in the tipping down rain? Because it does rain a lot where we are at the moment. And they're like, no. And I'm like, well, sometimes having that barrier. So it's there if you need it, or if the kids need it, they can obviously get it, but you don't need it. It's just putting that like small little barrier in place. And it does really help.
And what are your thoughts then on clearly communicating to the people around you of your goals and intentions with your health and fitness? So partners, friends, colleagues, that people or kids, family members.
Yeah.
What are your views on that? So you've got someone who wants to lose weight and communicating effectively to their partner, their friends and family of their intentions and what they're trying to do. What are your thoughts on that? What do you speak to your clients about that?
Communication is definitely key. Sometimes it can be difficult. So when I said to Tom, like, I'm going to track my food, I think you were like, okay. And I didn't feel like you were judging, but I always worry that people judge or people have got these opinions because like I'm not overweight, but sometimes you just want to lose a couple pounds to feel better about yourself. And some people go, you don't need to lose weight, you look fantastic as it is. And sometimes people are kind of afraid to speak to their partner because they're either afraid of what they think, they're afraid that their partner is then gonna try and ply them with more food, or their partner's just not going to be supportive. So I think it's definitely worth saying like, right, I am doing this, like this is how it's going to go type thing. You don't,
because it's very different with me.
I mean,
us having communication,
yours,
because you're telling me you're doing something that I do anyway.
You track your food all the
like
time.
It makes no.
Yeah.
But what about like talking to a parent, talking to a fan, talking to a person in your relationship that's not in the fitness industry? Because to me, yeah, you said it. I think what I thought was like, oh, you've never tracked calories before. I'm not obviously against you doing it, anything like that. But it's just like, I think for me, what I thought was like, oh, she wants to track calories now. But that was literally as far as the thought went. Like, you can do whatever you want in my mind, but there's obviously a lot of people that wouldn't understand it.
No, and
like, why do you want to lose weight? Why do you do this? Like,
yeah,
I know you can just do whatever you want.
Yeah, and I think they're gonna be like, oh, the partner's gonna worry that you're gonna force the diet on them, and it's like, no, you don't have to force it onto each other. But I think it's good to have that communication. So I've got a client at the moment, and she's been struggling with her weight, and I said, oh, how is your husband with his weight? And she was like, oh, he struggles as well. And I said, okay, I think it's good if you guys have a chat together, kind of make sure you're on the same page. This is what I recommend that you do. Obviously, he can follow those same sorts of habits as well, because it's also going to work for him. So this was like last week or so, and she came back to me and was like, yeah, me and my husband have had this chat. I've told him what I'm doing. I've told him what sort of stuff that I'm going to follow, and he's really on board. He's also going to do the same. And I was like, that's great, because you're both on the exact same page. You're on the exact, like, on the same sort of path. And you've both got this holiday coming up that you're going to like work towards, which is great. But not everyone is like that, which is sad. Like, so if your partner is saying like, I want to do this, it's just being like, okay, fantastic. What do you need me to do that is going to like help, or do you want me to support in any sort of way? Just so you're not doing it by yourself, because it can get a bit sad.
Yeah, it's a big thing I address with, I mean, clients from like the get-go in a consultation. Obviously if they are married or in a relationship and stuff like that, and if their partner is on the same page, because I've had so many clients where it's like we're talking about their nutrition and things like that, and they're training, they're doing well, and they've got their own meal prep for when they go home. They'll go home after a gym session or work on a Friday night to have their normal meal, what they wanted to have on plan, and their partner has ordered a takeaway.
Yeah.
And it doesn't create a very, good environment for you to stick to it. So what would your advice be to someone who's trying to lose weight and their environment isn't aiding it? They've got people around them that aren't seeing it, aren't helpful.
Seeing it. I think definitely communication. It's definitely speaking to them. Number 2 is like, you can't ditch a partner, because
yes, you can.
I mean, unless there's other stuff going on.
You should.
I'm not saying you should leave your partner because he orders a takeaway every day, but it's having that communication and being like, okay, we need to stop doing this every day or every couple of days. Sometimes it's having the shock of how much you're spending on these takeaways.
Oh yeah.
And being like, okay, if we work,
look at your Deliveroo.
Look at your Deliveroo, or you can get apps now that will like break it all down. Like, you are spending this much on takeaways, you're spending this much on your food shop, and then when you break it down and go, you know what, I could be spending that on a personal trainer.
That would be exactly the same with my fitness pal situation, though. People don't want to be aware of how bad the situation is.
Yeah. And it's definitely communication. It's definitely changing the people that you're hanging around with, potentially in and outside of the gym. So like, you might have friends that like to go to the cinema, eat loads of food, or have movie nights, and they'll bring loads and loads of food over. But it's also having that group of friends that, or being in an environment like going to a group exercise class, like everyone's there for the same sort of reason. Everyone wants to get fit, get healthy, lose weight, etc. Or like joining a club that everyone got the same sort of stuff, and you end up like slowly kind of transitioning into those more healthy sort of groups. I've definitely had clients before that have been like, I used to go for coffees and cakes every day, but now I'm going to the gym and I'm going to these classes with all my other friends, and those friends that I was having coffees and cakes with, yes, I'm still friends with them, but I'm not as close as we once were. But it's not because I don't like them, it's because we like different things. And she was like, I want to focus on what I can do for me, and I need to lose this weight, so sometimes your environment changes. And I was like, it's exactly that. Like, you need to surround yourself with the right sort of people. And it's like that with business, isn't it? Surrounding yourself with the right sort of people. Like, if you surround yourself with people that aren't inspired to work, or just are like, oh, this is an awful job, you're just exactly the same. You're like, oh, I hate this. But if you've got the right sort of people around you, it does really help you with your journey. So
no, that is very true. That is very true. I think that's what we're seeing with Penny as well. Me and Penny were kind of speaking about what we kind of noticed when she's kind of come back. Because I think she's definitely made a big switch with the people.
100%. No names here.
That she's definitely been around, and it's been very, very, very good to see it. It would be like if, we weren't supportive of one another. I don't think there's any aspect that I don't support of what you're doing, and vice versa.
Yeah. I think it's easier that we're both obviously into health and fitness. We're both personal trainers. Some days I don't want to exercise and you're like, come on, off we go. And sometimes like you're like, why do we have to go out for a walk? And I'm like, off we go. Even though the walk yesterday was about 10 minutes, it was so cold. But we kind of like help each other along the way. So it's good to have that in a partner or in a friend, and being like, right, we're going to go do this. And then off we go again. So yes, it's just having that like supportive people around you. And I guess with personal training, a lot of us have got like a community within our personal training. So it's then encouraging that, or encouraging them to go to classes or runs and stuff together.
I think the majority of people I hang around with are outside of you and obviously housemates are clients anyway. Just I
have no other friends.
I mean, it may sound weird, I mean, they pay me. There's an incentive to hang around with them. But jokes aside, they're like-minded.
Yeah.
100%.
Like
I even if they were paying me or not, like I've had clients who I don't work with anymore in a business sense, but they're close friends.
Yeah.
I do stuff with them. They're in the group. Anyway, I'm not going to just be like, oh, you're not paying me anymore, I'm never going to speak to you ever again.
Yeah.
Like, I think a lot of clients sometimes think because they're not paying me, I don't want to speak to them. Like, I've built a relationship with them. They're like-minded. We're like the same person in a lot of ways. We're very similar. And we've grown together and developed a lot of the same interests as we're in that same environment. It's good to be around. So, it's definitely, I think, people and places is so key. Like rocking up to the park run today, and all of a sudden within 2-3 minutes we've got a group there. It's like, right, we're here to tear up. We're here to.
I think it was like, what was it, 4 or 5 of us today?
Yeah,
it wasn't very many, but it was like then you see other people on the run that you know.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I saw people from the gym that I knew.
We're locals now.
You end up like seeing the same sort of faces, and you go, oh yeah, I've seen you before. Like, oh, you were in front of me last time. Now I'm in front of you, and it's like, it's nice to.
Got beat by those 12-year-olds today, or whatever they are. Those two young kids that did like sub 20 minutes. They like steamrolled past.
I mean, yeah, some of them are rapid.
Little girl and then little dark lad.
Yeah.
Smashed it.
Blimmin'
Killers they are, and they're like the height of my leg, and I'm there like, keep going, mate.
Slightly embarrassing, isn't it?
These kids have got like a heart rate of like 72 beats per minute or something like that, and I'm there like 220.
Death's door.
Love it. So, where can people find your stuff, Lauren? Where can people find all your information apart from down in the description below? Lauren's social media.
Oh, you're going to put it in the...
I'll put it down below.
I'll put it down below. So you can find me on Instagram at Lauren Gerry PT. I do a bit on Facebook. I do have a TikTok, but I get too addicted to TikTok. So I've not gone that way yet. When I can get off scrolling on TikTok, I might post on there one day. So I think that's the main place. It's just Instagram. You
got any things coming up? Have you got any things planned?
I do. Not until April, though. There'll be like a 4-week challenge starting in April. So just after Easter.
For the mums, yeah?
For the mums.
If you're a guy, you get charged double.
I mean, triple for the men.
Triple for the men. Men are poison.
But yeah, it's going to be like a 4-week home program for mums who are looking to, or who want to, like lose weight, drop a dress size, feel good in their body, kind of in time for summer. So it's going to be the 15th of April for 4 weeks. I'm going to be posting it on my Instagram in the next couple of days. So yes, keep an eye out for that.
Happy days. Have you enjoyed this?
Yes, I've enjoyed it. I feel like I've relaxed a little bit.
You're a
now
natural.
with the first-
You're a natural. You're a natural. You interview very well.
Oh, thank you so
Fantastic.
much.
Right, guys. Love you. Leave you. See you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye 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 bye.